open this meeting of the Licensing Commission on November 12th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. Clerk, please call the roll.
Chair Ravindran, Vice Chair McClintock,
Present.
Commissioner Hancock,
Present.
Commissioner Primo,
Present.
Commissioner Rowland.
Present.
Chair, we have quorum.
Thank you. Can I get an approval of the agenda?
Pledge of Allegiance first.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yes, thank you. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I move to approve the minutes for the October 8th, 2025 regular meeting of the Local Licensing Commission.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Who seconded?
Andrew.
Thank you.
All in favor? Can we do the thumbs up for the? Okay, thank you.
5 in favor, the motion carries. Oh, sorry. 4 in favor, the motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, public comment. If you wish to address the commission under public comment, please sign in on the public speaker form before the call to order of the meeting. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. The authority is not authorized by the Colorado Open Meetings Law to discuss, comment, or take action at the meeting on any issue raised by public comment that is not part of tonight's agenda. The chair may refer the matter to the staff to obtain additional information and report back as appropriate. Seeing nobody signed up for public comment, is there anybody else who'd like to make a public comment this evening? Okay. Thank you. Then it's on to general business. We have probable cause pre-renewal preliminary hearings. LA number 25-003 preliminary hearing. Angelo's Taverna and Carboy Winery LLC, DBA Angelo's Taverna and Carboy Winery, 6881 and 6885 South Santa Fe, Littleton, Colorado. Okay. Now we're going to swear in the owner, please. If you'd state your name and for the record, please.
Yeah, Craig Jones.
Craig Jones, do you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give before this commission is truthful?
Yes.
Thank you.
You can sit for now.
Would we please have the staff to present?
The city prosecutor and the licensee have come to an agreement, which has been submitted to the commission. We propose a 6-day suspension of licensee's liquor license with 3 days of actual suspension and 3 days held in abeyance for 1 year. The licensee has decided to pay a fine in lieu of the actual suspension as well. The dates of the suspension are Friday, July 18th through July 20th, which is a Sunday inclusive.
Do we have
Okay.
a total as to what that fine would work out to?
My predecessor spoke to Mr. Jones, and it would max out at the 5,000 is what he believes.
Okay.
Do we ask questions?
I'm going to call for a motion and a second before the discussion. Can I get a?
One additional
oh.
item, Vice Chair, my apologies. In reviewing the stipulation under paragraph 5D, the final sentence states, upon payment of the fine, the 5-day suspension shall be permanently stayed. It should be modified to 3-day suspension. I've discussed this with Mr. Jones, and he's in agreement.
Thank you.
Your proposed motion would be the same, though, given that if the licensee is agreeing to that, you would just probably want that on the record, that he is agreeing to that.
Thank you. Can I get a motion? Please, somebody make a motion.
So move with approval of the stipulation agreement, or acceptance of the stipulation agreement? Is that what we're moving?
So there, I keep turning it off. There is a suggested motion language on your staff communication for this as well. That might be helpful in guiding you to make that motion.
I move to approve the stipulation agreement and order between the city prosecutor and the licensee in section 5C of the stipulation, the period of proposed suspension for the purposes of calculating the fine in lieu of suspension shall be July 18th, 2025 through July 20th, 2025.
Will you sure and use our mics, please, so that we can pick it up for the recording?
Is that working now? There.
The show cause hearing date originally scheduled for December 10th.
I know it's not on.
The show cause hearing date originally scheduled for December 10th, 2025 is hereby vacated.
Thank you. Then you just need a second.
Got a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on the motion?
I'm sorry if I already went out of order. Is there any opportunity for any questions with the licensee?
Yes.
Is that during this
Usually
discussion
before the
period?
motion, but it's fine. Yeah, you
Gotcha.
can ask questions of him.
Sure. Thank you for, sure, please. Thank you for joining us tonight. There were a couple of items in the previous police report that I was curious about, and I'm hoping you could speak to and describe a little more background. I think there was a comment that the staff proposed cutting off the patrons in question, but they were overruled by management. And so I'd very much appreciate hearing kind of what that actual situation was. And then there was also a section in the police report, it looked like a voicemail left for the officer that looked like it was very challenging to the officer in making the report. So I'd appreciate hearing kind of what your take on those
Absolutely.
were.
Yeah, when somebody, hits, where the employees in question, if they can have another drink, then we train our staff with the tip certified class, but also to go get the manager on duty. And in this situation, the bartenders, wanted to get that second opinion on it, and they went to two of our owner operators, Jason Hayter and Robert Davis, and they went and talked to him and had a conversation with her, asked her what she was going to order. She hadn't had dinner yet, what she was ordering to eat, looked at her eyes, her body language, and then said, "Are you driving tonight?" And they said, no, they were taking an Uber, so in that situation, if they were driving, they would have probably been cut off. In the past, we've appropriately bent the rules. If somebody was not driving and they still looked fine, they weren't slurring their speech and their eyes looked fine, you would, in that situation, say, okay, they're taking an Uber, and the team felt that that was the right decision. But since this situation, we don't, if you're walking home and you feel you're intoxicated, or you have a ride, or you're taking an Uber, it doesn't matter at this point. It's a game changer, on how we operate moving forward, so it's completely changes the way that we operate with our responsible liquor vending. Over 30 years, I've never seen a situation like this, and it's pretty embarrassing, being so proud of, being in this room 10 years ago, getting everybody's vote, to change that site from agriculture to a restaurant, and having the opportunity, see some familiar faces over here, to be able to build a restaurant and winery in Littleton, we're very proud of that. But now we're sitting here today very embarrassed that we're, you know, having to explain this, so, definitely gonna spend more time on training and just, making sure that doesn't happen again.
Thank you for
bet.
elaborating on that, and thank you for kind of sharing some alternative approaches that
Yeah,
you're looking at.
but I will also say on the police deal, there was just, it was, you know, my opinions changed on how to handle that, you know, and if I'm talking to other restaurateurs or bar owners, how to handle this in the future, you know, just a lot of pride, you know, you're shocked that it happened. And you're hoping that, you know, and my opinions changed, but on that night to explain, you know, was that, you know, are we getting the blood work from, you know, the person that passed out? Was there any prescription drugs? Were there any drugs in their system? We were so curious because it just happened so fast. Like somebody looks totally fine and then, you know, 10 minutes later they collapse, you know, and it's, you know, I think it was just, you know, just wanting to, you know, get a fair hearing, I guess is what we thought, like, you know, can we get all the facts out there? But that's how we thought then. Now it's just, you know, let's just do a better job of, you know, so that it's not confusing at all. You know, if it was somebody that had one drink or two drinks versus, you know, somebody that's having 4 or 5, so.
Thank you. Appreciate you recognizing
No,
that.
thank you.
Hey, kind of follow up on that. Is there ever, I know you look at somebody and if they don't slur their speech, that's one of your triggers and stuff. Is there ever a number of drinks that somebody could have that you would say, I don't care if you look fine,
Right.
we're not gonna serve you anymore?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I was in the bar business before Angelo's, you know, and we're a restaurant, like, so, you know, we don't have people sitting in our restaurant, you know, as, you know, just drinking. They're usually there to enjoy the food and stuff. And what happened that night was something that you would think that would happen in a bar and not a restaurant like Angelo's or Carboy Winery. But to answer your question, yeah, you know, you know, we try to measure the blood alcohol. Colorado's, I think, the only state in the union that has .05 and .08, so DWAI and DUI, and which a lot of people, 90% of the population, probably not aware of that. You know, the risk of, you know, having 2 or 3 drinks and getting a DWAI is going to be just as painful as a DUI. You know, so we try to, you know, look at what they're ordering, their size, you know, and did they come here, you know, sober, or did they come here, you know, if they're coming from Breckenridge Brewery and there's a concert series and they've already had a few drinks, we might not even let them in. We have a track record of not letting people in. So, like I said, I think before you would just have the conversation with them and make sure that they're safe and that they can have another drink to where we are now, where, you know, you can't just sit in there for 2.5 hours and have five drinks. You know, because the blood alcohol in that situation would be over the limit, and that person would probably be at, you know, .01 or .011. And even if they're not driving, it's not worth the risk, you know, moving forward.
One of the individuals in the police report mentioned that he suspected that there was a relationship of some sort between the 2 patrons that were involved in the incident and either yourself or other management. Just curious if there is any sort of relationship. Are they regulars, that kind of thing?
Yeah, you know, somebody said that they were in there, you know, 2 or 3 times. You know, I can have Bradley or Robert come up as well. As far as like regulars that come in, you know, I've never met them before. Robert's never met them before. Jason, the other owner-operator, never met them before. But our bartender, Scott, and then one of our other bartenders said that was probably their 3rd time, but pretty recent, you know. And so I think that was taken a little bit out of context that they, you know, that, but you know, yeah. You know, I'm just mumbling right now because I don't think it was more than the 3 times, so.
Have they been back?
No. Yeah, they have not been back, and, you know, there's no animosity from us to them on that, you know, we just, for sure gonna be, you know, they'll be under the microscope next time and just, yeah. I mean, this is a really rare thing. I mean, as many liquor licenses that I've personally held in Colorado, you know, at the same time, you know, never, and being in the Restaurant Association for 30 years, I've never even seen anything like this. So it went from really somebody looking totally fine to, you know, but they were there for 2.5 hours, so it's changed the rule book, you know, how we're gonna play the game and operate our restaurant responsible, so.
What steps, oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead, go ahead.
What steps have you taken since this incident?
Yeah, it's staff training and then recertifying people on tips training and then notifying the managers of our new rules of how many drinks somebody can have now and that people can't be in there, you know, for several hours drinking. It does not matter if they're walking to Woolhurst or they have a ride, you know, somebody is intoxicated and one of our Littleton police officers thinks that they're intoxicated and we're gonna serve them another drink on top of that, that's not being responsible with our liquor vending. So the staff knows that we're more strict on how much to serve somebody and just not put ourselves in that position again.
So really, the summary is it was just kind of a one night, maybe bad judgment management-wise?
Well,
Because-
you know, there's 365 days a year,
Yeah.
35 years so when somebody's taking a taxi, you know, you would, you know, let somebody have another drink, you know, it's birthdays and holidays and whatever, you know, if somebody was taking a taxi, you'd let them have more. If somebody was taking an Uber, you'd let them have one more. If somebody's like, oh yeah, I'm driving, I'm the designated driver. So it you know, being in the business my whole life, you know, if somebody, you always look at it as like, is it a responsibility to prevent somebody from getting behind the steering wheel, right? You know, that's how we always managed, I think, in the past, like making sure that somebody doesn't go out there and hurt somebody and get in an accident. And so you really protect your liquor license that way. Now I look at it as, doesn't matter, like I said, you could live at Designs by Sundown next door, and if we feel that you're intoxicated and that you could fall, you know, and stumble out of here, we don't care. I mean, right now, it's just a different playbook, you know, that it doesn't matter if you're operating a vehicle or not, we can't overserve somebody and have somebody hang out there like that. So it's just a completely different rule book.
Agreed. Obviously, the law is you can't serve an intoxicated person.
Yes.
So that's, yes.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because now if I could go back and, you know, say that, you know, I could definitely word that a different way. If somebody is, you know, intoxicated, you know, there are different levels, you know, where somebody's like, this person should not be operating a car, but this person, you know, has a designated driver, and I don't think that they're wasted, let's just say. But when somebody's wasted, I mean, what's the difference between intoxicated and wasted? Like, you know, I think the perception for the Littleton police officer that arrived that day is this person's wasted, you know? And so, yeah, there's a lot to learn, and we're still learning. And we're very competitive and grateful to have the opportunity to own a business in Littleton. So, you know, we're gonna definitely do a better job.
That kind of led to one of my questions, maybe not necessarily for you, but the handout that we got last meeting, that's Littleton Licensing Authority Guidelines. It says on the sale or service to visibly intoxicated persons that the first offense is 10 business days suspension and then 5 days held in abeyance. And so I was confused because there isn't one in here that is 6 days. So I didn't understand the stipulation agreement.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, those are guidelines we are working to update. So this is what's in front of you on the first suspension with no priors is what we've historically done. So in the stipulation that you have in front of you, the guidelines are a little outdated and just serve as guidelines at this point. But what you have in the stipulation is what the city has done in this scenario before and proposed.
Okay.
Is there any more discussion?
One thing I just want to make sure that you have on the record, like I stated with the licensee, is that proposed typographical error in 5D. If he is in fact agreeing to that, I just want to make sure you have that on the record. Do you want me to restate it?
Yes, please.
Okay. On the stipulation that you already signed, under 5D, the last sentence states, this is related to the fine in lieu. Upon payment of the fine, the 5-day suspension shall be permanently stayed. That should read, the 3-day suspension shall be permanently stayed.
Okay, thank you.
And then just making sure he agrees to it on the record.
Yes, I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then the motion that is on the table right now is to approve the stipulation as read.
Yes.
And just to clarify, this is like normal routine, what we do for first?
Yep, so that would have been the city prosecutor, and it predates Katia, because we just went through a change. Our last prosecutor who had spoken with Mr. Jones just recently retired. So unfortunately, she's not here today to finish the stipulation she already started. But yeah, she would have had a conversation with him and gone through the guidelines as far as, is this someone who's had a violation before, this type of violation before, what does their record look like recently, and come to the stipulation of, instead of this actual suspension, we're allowing the fine in lieu, and it goes back to the dates, so you're aware of what this fine in lieu dates are. It's the date of the violation and then the day on either side of it for him to calculate, and there's statutory guidelines on how the clerk would work with him to calculate the fine that needs to be paid from the sales of those 3 days.
Thank you. Well, that said, I'd like to call for a vote. If we want to do the thumbs up again, if we could. Do the all in favor of agreeing to the stipulation, good.
Agreeing to the stipulation, it's 4 in favor, the motion carries.
Very good, thank you. Next up, the public hearing. Anything for the public hearing tonight? None? Then we have reports. The city attorney, city clerk, any reports?
Nothing from me.
Thank you.
Because this stipulation vacated the show cause hearing, your motion vacated that, there will be no meeting in December, so I'll see you in 2026.
Thank you. Happy holidays. Yes, thank you. Anything from the commission members? No, and I'm good, thank you. I had adjourned this meeting at 6:54 PM. Thank you.